morning. Good morning, everyone. Fantastic to be here and fantastic to have this opportunity to talk to this audience. I wish this was like the good old days when we used to do this in person, sit next to each other, shake hands, hug each other. But obviously, times have changed. The last 12 months have been the strangest of our of our lives, I guess, not just for us in the Philippines, globally. And I think what we've probably experienced and learned in the last 12 months or so has been a sum total of all of the years prior to that, because I guess the learnings are amazing. The way to move forward is something that we're still figuring out. But before I get into Startek and I get into more of how we've approached everything and how we are moving forward as an organization, just to give you the audience a quick background on Startek. Startek is a New York Stock Exchange listed entity. We are a company that's been in existence for approximately 30 years. Started off as a back office, back of the room operation way back in the day in the 90s in the US, and then grew into a BPO operation and eventually making a mark and expanding operations into different parts of the world. We've been in the Philippines since 2008. And in 2018, we had a strategic change in our vision and in our direction with a merger with an organization called Aegis, which was then headquartered out of India. Aegis used to previously be in Philippines, but that entity was hived off, so nothing to do with that previous entity. And the two companies came together to bring back the Philippines, US, and nearshore operation to the overall organization. The combined entity today is roughly around 45,000 people spread across 13 countries and approximately 50 different delivery centers. In the Philippines, to be more specific, we're about 5,000 odd people being servicing clients here since, like I said, 2008 out of 4 different delivery centers. So we've got 2 delivery centers in Metro Manila, one in Makati, along Bundia, which is our headquarters, and then another one in the Frontera Verde area in Ortigas East in Pasig. Which is a site that we've been at since 2015. And other than that, we have 2 provincial sites, one in the Angeles city area, and then one in the Visayas in Iloilo, again, where we've been since 2015. It's a fantastic site. And then just a little bit more, I think strategically, we are very clear on our way of building and managing sites. We tend to go with standalone buildings, unlike some of our partners or our competitors who like to do a mix of standalone as well as malls or in mixed office buildings. What we found is the standalone buildings serve us well. And it wasn't a strategy as clearly for COVID, but it turned out to be a tremendous asset when we got, when we all encountered the pandemic about a year ago. And being in the standalone buildings where we are either 100% tenant, or in the case of a Makati, like an 85% tenant, we have most of the floors -1, really helped us. It gave us the ability to control a lot of the things we wanted to control, to be able to build a very robust health and safety network to have our employees come in and work. So just as an example, when we got hit with COVID, and I'm sure most of my colleagues would have experienced the same thing. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw transportation would disappear. Nobody knew that IATF will come up with a new rule every day that would come from left field, and you'd be wondering what to do about it. So I can tell you, in about a year ago, on March 13th, when the news broke, we had come out of an earnings call, and we were thinking, hey, this is going to be the most strategic year of our lives. And lo and behold, 24 hours later, we were firefighting, trying to figure out how to get people to come into our offices, how to keep the operation going, how to keep moving forward. But what you're not prepared for, I guess, is where you start to get innovative. About a year ago, in March, I suddenly had 4 hotel operations running. All 4 of my sites were converted to significant areas, were converted to sleep areas. We were buying mattresses in bulk. We were installing washing machines. We were installing shower cabins because suddenly people could not move about. Work from home was being developed. We had a pretty decent solution, but it wasn't as robust because we've never needed work at home the way we need it today. And our clients in the Philippines did not ask for it. So while we were parallelly working on our work at home deployment, sending out computers to our agents, making sure they have the stable internet connections that we need, we also needed to do something to continue the operation, because At Startek, we have a very simple approach. We call it the balancing act, right? You have a balanced scorecard, you have a balanced diet, you have a balancing act. For us, our employees, our shareholders, and our clients, all three pillars we have to look at equally. From an employee standpoint, the health and safety is most paramount and the most critical thing that we went after. From a client standpoint, it was clear business continuity is what they needed, what they demanded, and what we needed to give them. And from a shareholder perspective, you could not lose sight of revenue and profitability, because at the end of the day, if you don't have the revenue coming in and the profitability coming in, you won't be able to service your employees or your clients. So I think at the very beginning itself, we were very clear of how we wanted to approach the pandemic scenario. And within a fortnight, we had multiple hotels booked, people living in those hotels near sites being transported in and out of the site. We had over 500 people living in our different sites, living and working out of the site. And then we had started to build our work from home operation. What we saw literally in March was a pretty decent blip to our business. We lost a decent chunk of our revenue. And we also had tremendous client partners, some of them who stepped up to pay us the full invoice despite not being able to deliver to what they had locked with us. We had some other partners who stood up to support us, to help us with the costs that we were incurring and other things. So it's been a tremendous factor. One other thing that helps Startek is we are very travel light in the Philippines. Our travel and hospitality verticals in the Philippines are almost non-existent, which used to seem like a big deterrent to me before going into this scenario. But then suddenly, when this scenario played out, having a lot of e-commerce, telco, cable and media clients suddenly was to our advantage, because all of these clients saw a tremendous boom to their business. And suddenly we were obviously encountering challenges because their volumes were going through the roof and we had to step up to act. By April, we were, I think, probably at our worst, as all of us were dealing with a scenario which none of us had dealt with. But very soon after that, I think as a collective team, we came together, meeting every day, putting plans in place, ensuring business continuity, giving out allowances to employees, giving them accommodation, giving them the support to get transported to the site. And by May, I think we were back to about 80% of where we were supposed to be as a plan for the year. So it's been a rough journey. Even though we got back to where we needed to in May, it did not obviously change the trajectory. Thereafter, Q3, Q4 have been tough. I think one of the things that we've all realized is you can never be prepared for a scenario like this, no matter how much BCP testing or how much BCP planning you do. There's nothing you can do about what we all encountered. As we go forward into 2021, it's a very exciting time. We've seen some of our clients grow 200-300%. We are in the thick of some significant ramps with some of our clients. Our priority, as I said at the beginning, is always to ensure a good living and a stable job for our employees. So our approach to this has been of a health and safety, 100% health and safety environment, giving our folks the ability to come into work or work from home, and then be able to continue to grow with our clients. So what we are seeing as we've gone into 2021, the scenarios have improved a tad bit with the opening up of the market a little bit. Transportation continues to be a challenge. We augment that with transportation services that we've been providing to our employees since June of last year. However, what I foresee is that we will continue to employ a significant population of the country and thereby supporting families of more than 5,000 to 6,000 Filipinos, which is again a very primary objective to us, to be able to support our employees, to be able to give them that stable employment, that they are able to take a paycheck back home and support the 3, 4, 5, whatever is the number that they support back home, and thereby impacting the lives of 25, 30,000 Filipinos. And I guess at a macro level, that's the fourth pillar of our business. How do we give back to community? It starts at home. We give back to the community first by taking care of our employees, and then obviously going a step beyond and seeing what we can do over and above through our initiatives. But essentially, I think 2021 looks like a year which will still be marred with challenges. It's not something that has changed dramatically. I think we will still continue to see challenges, and we'll continue to face different scenarios. However, I think we've left the worst behind us at least. And BPO, I think, is the true middle class creator, the true industry that changes the lives of people. I saw that in India in the first part of my career from 1998 to 2006. And from 2006, I was able to come here, replicate some of that, and see how it's changed the country around us, the buildings, the fast food, the retail. It's an amazing story. And I think the government needs to back us a lot more, support us a lot more. I think as an industry, we do a lot for each other. Even though we are direct competitors, I would say one of the best things I've seen through this period is the groups that we have, whether it's through CCAP or smaller groups, and how we've collaborated with each other. So I would say, competition aside, it's a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a family. And I think BPO is really here to stay, and to keep the industry resilient is one of the key aims any government should have, and help us continue to support the Filipino economy. Thank you.